Late April 1944. Munich, Bavaria. The spring sun hangs low over the shattered rooftops of the old city, casting long shadows across streets still choked with rubble from earlier raids. A chill wind carries the faint smell of smoke and damp earth. Then, far above the Alps to the south, comes the distant, steady drone, a deep, rhythmic thunder that grows until it fills the sky. Hundreds of silver crosses glint in tight formation, American B-17 flying fortresses, returning westward after striking the airfields and factories around the city. Their bomb bays are empty now, their fuselages gleaming, unmarked by the black bursts of flak that had greeted them hours before. Below, in the avenues and ruined squares, German civilians pause. They look up, and some begin to weep. This moment in the spring of 1944 marked a turning point few could articulate, yet all could feel. For years, the people of the Reich had been assured that the Luftwaffe ruled the heavens, that enemy bombers would be swept from German skies long before they reached the heartland. Propaganda newsreels had shown burning RAF aircraft tumbling into the channel, had promised that no American daylight raider would ever penetrate so far south. Munich, the capital of the movement, cradle of National Socialism, had remained almost untouched until the previous year. Its citizens had watched the war from a distance, confident in final victory. But by 1944, the reality had changed. The United States 8th and 15th Air Forces, operating from bases in England and Italy, had begun systematic daylight bombardment of southern Germany. On 24 April alone, more than 700 heavy bombers, mostly B-17s of the 15th Air Force escorted by long-range P-51 Mustangs, struck Munich and its surrounding aircraft plants. Flak batteries threw up desperate barrages, yet the great formations pressed on, dropped their loads, and turned for home. Many emerged unscathed. German civilians had grown accustomed to the sight of crippled bombers limping back across their cities, engines feathered, wings holed, trailing smoke as they struggled towards Switzerland or the North Sea. Those damaged aircraft had offered a fragile comfort, proof that the defenses still bit, that the enemy paid dearly for each intrusion. But now, in the clear skies of late spring, entire combat boxes flew overhead intact. No trailing stragglers, no flaming torches spiraling down. The four Wright Cyclone engines of each fortress thrummed in perfect harmony, the sun flashing off polished aluminum as though the machines were invulnerable. To those watching from below, women queuing for meager rations, old men clearing debris, children playing amid the ruins, the sight struck like a physical blow. The deep, unbroken roar of those engines became the recurring sound of American industrial might, a relentless reminder that the Reich's factories could no longer match the output rolling from Detroit and Seattle. Day after day, week after week, the same formations returned, their engines singing the same unbroken song over Munich, over Augsburg, over Friedrichshafen. The roar echoed in cellars and bunkers, in sleepless nights, in whispered conversations that dared not speak treason aloud. What the people expected had been shaped by years of propaganda. Joseph Goebbels had assured them that Allied bombers would be destroyed in droves, that terror from the air would break British morale first, that German ingenuity and willpower would prevail. Luftwaffe leaders had boasted that no escort fighter could reach southern Germany, that the B-17 was vulnerable once its short-range escorts turned back. Civilians had clung to those promises even as the sirens wailed more frequently. They expected to see the sky filled with falling enemy wrecks, to hear triumphant announcements of hundreds shot down. Instead, they witnessed the opposite. On missions throughout 1944 and into 1945, the 15th Air Force dispatched wave after wave of B-17s and B-24s against Bavarian targets. Loss rates, once catastrophic in the unescorted days of 1943, plummeted after the P-51 Mustang achieved dominance. Formations that had once bled aircraft now flew through flak and dwindling fighter opposition largely untouched. Intelligence reports reaching Berlin confirmed the grim arithmetic. American industry was producing bombers faster than the Luftwaffe could destroy them. By mid-1944, the United States was turning out more than 1,000 heavy bombers each month. German production, hampered by dispersed factories and constant attack, could not keep pace. Historical records bear stark witness to this shift. On 24 April 1944, the official USAAF summary recorded only light opposition over Munich. Most bombers returned without serious damage. Similar reports followed through the summer and autumn. By early 1945, Munich endured 74 major raids in total, yet the returning American streams remained remarkably whole. SD Security Service reports, those secret mood surveys compiled for the Nazi leadership, noted a sharp decline in civilian confidence from the spring of 1944 onward. In Bavaria, once a stronghold of party loyalty, agents recorded growing despair. People spoke openly of the endless American formations, of how the bombers came and went as they pleased. Some reports mentioned tears in the streets when undamaged fleets passed overhead, silent acknowledgement that the war in the air had been lost. That realization worked a profound transformation. Where once Munich citizens had rallied around the regime with fervent enthusiasm, now doubt crept in. The unbroken roar of those Merlin and Cyclone engines became a symbol not of terror alone, but of overwhelming material abundance, the hallmark of American democracy turned to war. Each intact B-17 represented assembly lines untouched by bombardment, resources limitless, a nation able to replace losses almost casually, while Germany scraped for aluminum and fuel. The sound eroded the ideology that had sustained the Reich, the myth of a racially superior people triumphant through will alone. In its place grew a quiet, corrosive awareness that industrial democracy, with its vast factories and free labor, could outproduce and outlast any totalitarian state. In the end, as the formations faded westward into the evening sky, the people of Munich stood in silence or turned away, faces wet. The roar of those engines lingered long after the silver specks vanished, a recurring anthem of abundance that no propaganda could drown out. It told a larger truth, that freedom, when harnessed to industry and resolve, produces not only weapons, but the certainty of victory. In the unbroken flight of those B-17s homeward, Germany glimpsed the future, and in that glimpse lay the beginning of the end.